Hello Virgo, and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. My name's Colette and I'm here today to do a reading for all you Virgos that are Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising. If you don't know where any of those placements are, or if you know where your Sun is but you don't know where your Moon, Venus and your Rising placements are, I will be putting a free natal link in the description box down below so that you can go and check that out. And also, when you check it out, you could maybe find out more about your actual astrological birth chart as well, where the degrees are for your Sun, your Moon, your Venus and your Rising, if you don't know them already. And maybe you could take a deeper look at what is actually happening in your own chart at this moment in time as well, compared to everything else that's going on astrologically. It will give you a bigger picture. So, this is a general reading for you Virgos out there, and it may also resonate for some of you that have quite a lot of Virgo in your chart as well. So another good reason to go and check out your natal chart and to see how much Virgo you may actually have in your chart, or how much earth signs you might also have in your chart, because that could also make a difference as well as to how you resonate or don't resonate with this message, because it could have some meaning for some just earth signs out there as well. And also for you cross watchers of Virgos who have either been in a relationship with a Virgo, are in a relationship with a Virgo, or you want to get into and involved with a Virgo, you may find that these messages are also switched over. So the energies, you may be thinking that sounds more like my story, and you may well be right. It may well be your story, because they can kind of swap over the energies when it comes to cross watchers as well. So just bear that in mind. And I'm going to start at the very center of your reading today, Virgo, with the Major Arcana card of the Star, which is in reverse. And so, being a Major Arcana card, it's kind of saying to me that this has been around, this is something you've had to kind of deal with for a wee while now, for some time. And also because it's in reverse, I'm also getting the feeling that this is something that you're not particularly wanting to look at. You're not particularly feeling very hopeful, shall we say, because this is the Star of Hope down here. And this is Pandora's box, which either has been opened already, Virgo, or you're in the process of opening this, or it has been around for a while. But either way, the energy itself has been kind of there hanging around, because this is saying to me that this hasn't been resolved. This hasn't really been looked at. And you may feel as though you just want to keep the lid on this box. You don't want to go there, you don't want to look in it, you don't want to see what's going on. When it's up this way, it kind of represents Pandora's box and all the kind of suffering that Pandora let out into the world. But at the very bottom of the box was this beautiful star, which she kind of released at the same time, which kind of says to us, don't give up, there is hope. There is always hope, so don't give up on a situation. But because it's in reverse, I almost get the feeling that you've kind of already given up on this situation. So there's a part of you that is kind of saying you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. You don't see any change coming in. You don't see how, you can't see a way out of it. You kind of are feeling very caught up in all of this nasty stuff here as well. So some of you Virgos, this is going to be, like I said, this is going to be a process that is already taking place. For some of you it will have already taken place, and for others it is probably something that's coming into kind of take place soon. It's almost like it's there, but it hasn't actually materialised, is how I'm kind of feeling it at the moment. And there is an element here as well. I've talked briefly about this star representing an energy that's now known kind of in the astrological world as Clarico, and she is the wife of Chiron, and Chiron, the wounded healer in Greek mythology, who was very good at healing everybody else but not so good at healing himself, but she kind of kept the space for Chiron to heal. It's like a sacred space that she holds. And when she was discovered, this asteroid, or this Centaur, one of the Centaur asteroids that are out there, when she was discovered, the astrological chart itself actually made up a 6-pointed star. And so for me, it's kind of really represents that energy. It's kind of holding a sacred space for yourself in order to be able to heal. But you're not there, Virgo. I would say that at the moment you've not got to that point. You've not even, I would say, got to this point of seeing that even though the situation is full of crap and just really kind of feeling like one thing after another, that you're just having to face things over and over again, but you're not able to see that at the end of this that there will be a better outcome, because as of yet you haven't, I don't feel, reached this stage with it being in reverse. And your challenge, and what's come out over the top of this, is the Page of Pentacles. Now all the pages are a new energy, or a young energy, sorry, I prefer actually to say young energy. I keep calling them new energies. It's the aces that are new energies. The pages are young energies. They're like childlike energy. So this could actually have something to do with a child. But for me, it also represents the situation here. And this is kind of saying that it's time for you to rethink things, to replant things. It's like saying that this is you have to, what I feel is that this is your past. This is something that has brought you to where you are today in your past. This could be relating to a relationship. This could be relating to a business partnership, a family situation, a situation with a friend. But there's something, or just this general ongoing slaughter, like feeling like this ongoing slaughter of kind of stuff that just keeps coming at you. Like you sort one thing out and then straight away there's something else. But I'm getting the feeling that this is also talking about moving forward, moving beyond this, in the sense that this is something that you need to leave and make new plans. Make new plans, make kind of, new plans. Young energy here is kind of saying to me that there's something that needs to be reevaluated. It's time to reevaluate something. It's time to look again at your future, because the way that you thought it was going to turn out doesn't feel as though it's going to. And it's also come out with the High Priestess, but she is in reverse. So to me, she's kind of saying that at the moment it's like being in and out of both worlds. Like your dream state kind of has the answers that you're looking for. Also, maybe that you don't actually want to deal with the real world at the moment. There could also be elements of that as well, that you would rather kind of go into this, I suppose on some level it could be seen as kind of this fantasy world, or this fantasy belief, or but you don't seem to be taking anything very what's the word I'm looking for here, Virgo? You don't seem to be being your usual practical self, shall we say? when it comes to this situation here. I kind of get the feeling of an avoidance here, because it's in reverse as well, and because it's a major arcana card. Again, this is an energy that has been kind of with you, Virgo, for quite some time, but you may not be taking any notice of it. This is the hidden realm. This is the realm of things that are on a much deeper level, the bigger questions in life, and the kind of dream world, the subconscious, the really kind of strong instinctual knowing of something that you may be ignoring because it's in reverse, Virgo. There may be a part of you that isn't wanting to acknowledge this knowing, this kind of like, you know something's coming, you know that there's something that you need to deal with here, and the fact that you know that you've got to kind of replan your future and rethink it and reevaluate it, but you're not wanting to really face up to it, I feel, on some level. Because there could also be a part of you that doesn't actually, not wanting to acknowledge this because it's not something that you want happening to you. And there's a kind of feeling of, if I just put it in the background, it will just kind of disappear. There's that kind of sense of that as well today. But it's not going to just disappear. And you also have here the Knight of Swords in reverse and the Ten of Swords in reverse as well. So these two cards are saying to me that there is something that has been very kind of quick to happen, and it has brought a lot of stress, a lot of worry, but it is a 10 as well. So again, it kind of is a situation that has been in the making, I feel, for a long time, and it's kind of finally reached a head. And that you're needing to let it go. But because the 10 is in reverse here, it's something that you're not finding easy to do so. You're not finding it easy. Usually this card is about quick, fast moving forward away from something. But I get the feeling that this is something that you're not particularly wanting to do here, Virgo. You're not wanting to leave this situation. Even though it's not a particularly, what's the word I'm looking for? There's kind of a coldness around this, I feel. There's kind of a kind of, almost as if it's been between two people, and it's now that there's a kind of, because this is the twins who have been kind of working very closely together, but now I get the feeling that this is kind of two people that are separating here, or a business that's being separated. Something's being separated. Maybe again it could be to do with family, it could be to do with friends, but something is being separated. And it has been a long time kind of in the making, and coming to this kind of head and this end here. So let's see what else we have for you, Virgo. Underneath, and what's in your subconscious and what you're not aware of so much, is this energy of the Fool, which is all the new beginnings. It's quite similar in a way to this card here, which is your challenge, if you like. Your challenge, the Page of Pentacles, the kind of need to reevaluate your future. And the Fool is saying to me, because it's in reverse, I get the feeling somehow that this is something that you have not chosen for yourself. This new beginning is kind of being forced on you. And I also get the feeling of that with these two cards here as well. And you may also be trying or finding or looking for some kind of wisdom from somebody else to help you through with this situation. This could also be what the High Priestess is about. It is that very kind of knowledgeable but instinctual kind of knowing, that really kind of deeper understanding of things. Somebody who's got a lot of insight, somebody who's got a lot of kind of understanding of things on a much deeper level than the kind of physical mundane world, shall we say. It could have something to do with going to see a psychic, because it is kind of psychic energy, so you may be looking to a psychic as well, trying to find some answers there. Or maybe you're reluctant to go to a psychic, but maybe it would do you some good. Maybe it would help you out if you went and saw somebody who had some of this, like a feeling of a connection to, you know, the much bigger energy. Somebody who understands things as a channel, a channeling energy of divine, creative source, God energy, however you like to see it. Spirit guides, spirit friends, your past relatives, people who are there for you, who want to help you. There could also be elements of that within this card too. But I do get the feeling with this one that there is this reluctance to leave the cave, to leave the safety, the security, the kind of whatever this cave represents to you. The kind of kind of comfort zone, shall we say. There is a huge reluctance here to leave it. But I do get the feeling it's like you're being pushed. Almost like being pushed out of the nest in a way. Pushed out of the nest, pushed out of your comfort zone. And it's come out with the Five of Water, or the Five of Cups, which for me is this real kind of despairing card. This really kind of sorrowful, woe me, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to have to think about it. Again, it's in reverse. If you see here, she's got her hand on her head and she's got her arm kind of out and she's kind of really despairing to me. It's almost like she's asking. That's how I get the feeling here, is kind of she's saying, and I think it could have something to do with this energy here as well. You're kind of saying, help me, help, I need answers here, I don't know what to do. It's like, you know, my life has kind of fallen apart kind of energy is what I'm picking up here. My life has kind of taken a turn, taken a abrupt kind of awakening, or even a kind of a twist in the road that you weren't expecting. So there is this kind of feeling of heaviness as well. I just kind of get this feeling that this is kind of pulling her down into the depths of her own kind of despair and her emotions, and that she's really kind of submerging herself in it. And there's also a feeling of that with this as well, especially with it being upside down, that there's this kind of submergence here of kind of, I don't want to say wallowing, but there's a kind of feeling that there's a lot of kind of emotional, really, if you look at the colours of these as well, they're very kind of emotionally charged colours to me, the kind of blues and greens. I often think of them as very emotional, even though they're kind of heart chakra, which kind of is all to do with the emotions anyway. So Yeah, there's just this kind of feeling of being very kind of struggling through this, I feel, Virgo. There's something here that you're struggling through. And it's like you're not coming up for air. It's like you can't come up for air. You're just kind of sinking deeper into your feelings and your sadness. And I kind of get the feeling that you're cutting yourself off as well, because the King of Swords here is in reverse and upside down, and this could also be your way of coping with this. This could be how you're dealing with this. You've kind of become quite cold and quite kind of aloof, and also kind of like very precise about how you say things and what you say. It's kind of like you're keeping your conversation kind of very short and sharp and to the point, and not really expressing this. You're not expressing this emotion, this feeling. You're kind of keeping it all inside, Virgo. And if you look at the colour of this as well, it always kind of reminds me of this kind of statue, this kind of stoniness, this kind of, it's all very grey and very kind of bleak and very kind of foreboding, kind of harsh, not very giving energy here. And especially when it's in the reverse. It does relate to the mind as well, being swords. And you do also have, of course, these two sword cards here as well, both in reverse. So there's a lot of stress happening, I would say, Virgo, at the moment in your mind, in your mental body, in your kind of, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle this situation. I'm trying to do it the best I can, but I don't even know if that is the best. Is the kind of energy I'm picking up on here or feeling. And then you have this card here, which is the Six of Wands in reverse. A six is usually to do with a victory, but I feel that this is quite kind of a shallow victory. But the people that are involved in this situation, there isn't really a victory for anybody. There doesn't seem to be a victorious outcome here. Nobody really seems to be a winner in this situation. And you have the Hangman after this card of victory, which is kind of saying to me that you need to, again, let it go and surrender it, which is really what this card is saying here as well. You have to realise that it's come to an end, that it's time for you to kind of let it go, walk away from it. Not easy. But with this Hangman card here as well, this is very much about surrendering it to kind of the greater energy, the bigger source, the allowing something else to kind of guide you. That's what I think this is about. I think it's about guidance. I think it's about inner guidance. I think it's about you kind of tuning into your own guidance, but also at the same time finding, you can find guidance without, from without, as in you could go to somebody else and they could also help you understand your own guidance. But I feel as though that's not an easy thing for you to do, Virgo. Maybe some of you are very, because you're kind of Mercury ruled as well, you can be very analytical and very kind of very kind of caught up in your logic, and things have to make sense as well with this card here. With the King of Swords, he very much likes to have things logically worked out and balanced. But I do get the feeling that at the moment none of this is kind of making sense to you. Almost like, how did this happen? How did I get here? How did I get left in this kind of hangman situation of being hung out to dry, or just this general feeling of things not of you not being able to have control over a situation as well. Which again is something that Virgos don't find easy, because Virgos do like to have kind of some order in their lives, and kind of they don't like the chaos, they don't like the chaotic, it upsets them. So Virgo, moving away, but again what's been around for a while, for some time, and also I say that because it's in reverse, and again it's an energy of swords, it's mental energy. This card here is pain. This is pain. This is a heartfelt, seriously painful situation, Virgo, that you have been in. You have found yourself in. And again, I get the feeling it was something that was kind of unexpected, and you kind of, it could be a third party situation, which it absolutely is in this card here. There's 3 people involved in this card here. And I feel as somehow that it kind of does also relate to this card here. Not least because there's kind of 2 kind of coffin things here as well, well, this is actually a bath and this is a box, but it's kind of a similar symbolism, shall we say. Also, I feel in this card that you're caught up in this. You're caught up in this. The same as here. You're caught up in this. This is what you're focused on. This is what your attention is on. And like with this card here, you are yet to see that what has actually occurred here in this card, because you're still in the really kind of painful, like this is really hurtful, this is really like I'm never going to heal from this kind of energy. But there is actually a healing process taking place within this card, because it's almost like you've now seen through something. It's almost like having lived in a bubble, and the way that you saw things, or the way that you thought things were, this card has kind of burst that bubble. It's kind of saying that, you know, how you really thought things were is not how things actually are. So although it's a painful situation, there is also an element of a cathartic kind of clearing, a cathartic healing taking place here. And as of yet, you may not be aware of that, or you may not kind of be allowing that to be the focus. The same as this, like I was saying here with this card here, I feel that this is not your focus yet, this hope. And I kind of get the same kind of energy from this. I know they're very kind of different looking cards, but I kind of feel that there will be at some point this cathartic kind of realization, and this kind of looking forward into the future with more hope as you evaluate, and you can kind of see that things had to change. Things had to change, that it couldn't stay like this. You couldn't live in that illusionment, in that kind of bubble of believing that everything was okay when in fact it wasn't. Again, this can be to do with a personal relationship, it can be to do with a business partner or a business itself, or a friendship, family situation. So however it comes out for you on a personal level, Virgo. And you also have the Seven of Fire here with this card, which today is saying to me that you've kind of that this has kind of forced you, again, I get the feeling like with this energy here, it's kind of being forced into this new beginning, this kind of being forced into taking this leap off of this cliff, and this is the energy that's down below, whereas this is the energy that's kind of there and it's leaving, it's moving away, it's the energy that's been around for a while. So you've had to kind of really pick yourself back up and really stand up for your own beliefs in all this. And I get a very similar feeling of kind of leaping into something new, that you're about to do that. You're about to leave that situation. You're about to take that leap off the edge of the cliff here. Again, very similar energies. But this one was upside down. So this one kind of has said to me that this was something that was kind of forced upon you, where with this card here, I feel that you've kind of taken more control over it. It's like you've not kind of healed or exactly moved on, but you kind of know that you have to kind of pick yourself up and get back on with life and kind of, you know, make the best of the situation, or even kind of pick out the best bits of the situation so that you can take them with you. Maybe that's what these kind of little fireflies are saying to me today. Almost like sifting through something and kind of just like little sparks of memories of things, and some of it has been really good, but it hasn't all been really traumatic. But it's time to kind of take those bits with you and to move forward. But you also have the 5 here. So again, it's a struggle. It's reversed. And this is the card of doubts, yourself, doubting yourself. This card usually represents you having to stand up for your own beliefs, your own place in the world in some ways. Standing up and battling other people's thoughts and beliefs and way of being. But this card is very much for me about kind of battling with ourselves, our self-doubt, our lack of belief in ourselves. Again, it's in reverse, so it's kind of saying to me that this has been a ongoing situation. But it is leaving, it is moving away, it's in the energy that's moving away. So you may feel as though it's kind of, whatever happened has kind of really made you doubt who you are, made you doubt your abilities, made you doubt your own judgment on things as well somehow. And you've had to kind of battle through things. You've got both these cards, both the kind of battle cards, one with other people and one with yourself. So Virgo, it has been, like I was saying here with this card here, it has been, I feel as though it's just been this constant onslaught of things, of kind of stuff. If you see here, these are like little insects, which could also relate to these here, but I get the feeling this is something slightly different to this. But these insects are kind of the, how can you put it, like things that just keep coming, an annoyance, you know, where they just keep coming back and they sting you, and they kind of, there's so many of them at times as well, you know, if you get caught in a swarm of flying ants or something like that, you know, there's just so many of them, or bees or wasps, or sometimes it just seems as though there's a kind of constant, especially in the summer months, you know, when we kind of, there's just one thing after another. That's the sense I'm feeling, that they represent just one thing after another. You kind of get something sorted and something else rises up, but it has been kind of wearing you down. Also with this card here as well, I feel that not only on a mental but also kind of on a physical level as well, a sense of you being kind of run down as well, Virgo, that maybe you need to really take care of your health at this moment as well, and at this time. Kind of really look into your diet maybe as well, just because if you're feeling run down and, you know, you kind of get to the energy where you're not really wanting to look after yourself, it's just going to make things worse for you. So that's what's moving away. And what's moving in, oh no, sorry, what's in your head and what you're aware of, I will do first, is again the Seven of Wands. So we had this here as well. So this is what's in your head and what you are aware of. Is this kind of battle with other people? Is this constant kind of, again, onslaught of having to justify yourself maybe as well in this situation, Virgo? People keep questioning you maybe. You maybe don't want to actually, you know, explain anything to people as well. You may just want to keep these this to yourself at this moment in time with this King here as well. You know, this, the way that you're feeling is that you know, you don't really feel as though you owe anybody an answer or an apology, or too much of your time, I get as well, is kind of creative wands energy, like you don't really want to give other people your time or your effort or your energy at this moment. So you've got the two Seven of Wands, but it's also come out here, this seven, with the Eight of Water. And this can kind of be seen two ways. This can be seen as the boat that's kind of coming in, and she's kind of standing on the shore waiting for this boat, and she's kind of got her chest, which can kind of relate to our worldly goods, if you like, you know, the things that we have to take with us when we pack up and move somewhere else. But I get more the feeling that this is a sense of, for you, having kind of been taken by this boat. And the boat represents life. For me, the boat always represents life. So it's a case of you kind of being taken and put onto this shore, which kind of represents a new territory, new land, new a new start, unexplored territory. So, and the Eight also represents kind of leaving something behind, walking away from an emotional situation. So this is what's in your head and what you're aware of, but this is what you're going to have to do. But this is kind of probably the best thing, Virgo, shall we say. Even though you are reluctant, even though, like I was saying, with this upside down Fool card here, feeling that you've been kind of forced out of your comfort zone. So so yeah, the Eight of Water is saying to me, it's time for you to take a new look. New shores, new adventure. Kind of leaving those emotions behind, moving on. Well, I don't get the feeling at the moment somehow, Virgo, that you're ready to actually explore or go into those emotions. You're not quite ready to actually take a deeper dive, and I think that's maybe what this is also about here as well, this High Priestess kind of saying that you're not wanting to dive into the emotional aspect of this situation. You're kind of, like I say, you're kind of dealing with it all very kind of logically and very kind of matter-of-factly in a way. And the emotions aren't really being brought into this situation at present. And so, what we have next, the energy that's moving in, is the Three of Wands, which is all about taking a risk. This is also about kind of having something being offered to you, which in a way life is kind of offering you this new journey, this new territory, this new, again I get this feeling, you know, with this new beginning in many ways. So there is this risk that is going to be taken here, Virgo. You can't really escape it, I feel. In reverse, you are reluctant, you don't particularly want to do it. But there's almost a kind of, I suppose in reverse it's kind of saying to me that there's, you don't really have a lot of choice in this respect of the fact that this risk has kind of, because of the situation that has developed previously, this is going to come out of that situation, and it means that you are going to have to take that risk. But you have the Four of Swords, which it's come out with here, which is all about kind of taking your time, not rushing anything. Also, I feel as well with this card today, this is kind of the digesting card, if you like, I'm feeling today, which for you Virgos, being kind of quite affected by your stomach. Virgo kind of rules that area of the body, the stomach. So when Virgos emotionally feel anything or get upset, that's where they'll be affected. They'll be affected in their stomach. So this could also be relating to that as well, kind of saying, you know, take time out to really kind of allow yourself space to feel and to kind of process what has taken place before you make any other moves, before you decide where you're going or what you're doing. Really kind of give yourself that space, Virgo. And the card that came out after this is the Five of Fire, or the Five of Wands, which you also had down here as well, which is the card, as I was saying, of doubting yourself, your own fears, having to face your own fears. But today, for me, the similarity there is really quite apparent. They're both kind of talking about sitting and just being That's how I feel about this card today. Although it's a creative card, it's a wand, it's creative energy, it's dynamic energy. If you see here, she's just kind of plonked herself down. I always get the feeling that it's kind of like she's at her own party and nobody's turned up, kind of thing. And she's kind of all dressed up with nowhere to go. That's the kind of feeling that I get with this card, Virgo. But just this general sense of don't rush into anything. Don't try and make anything happen, because you could end up regretting it. That's the kind of energy that I'm getting from this card today. Because she doesn't look particularly pleased in this card, I would say. She just kind of looks a bit despondent and a bit kind of like these lights up here. That's why I kind of think of it as a kind of party. And she's very much on her own. And this card is the same as well. It's very much on your own there as Virgo, Virgo. So for me, it's kind of saying that this is a time of kind of solitude, of not trying to make it seem that you're okay when you're actually not feeling okay at all. In a way, I feel what I've just been kind of hearing is putting on a brave face, which we all tend to do in these kind of situations. But this is kind of saying to me, don't pretend that you're not upset by this. Don't pretend that it hasn't upset you, that you're not affected by this situation. Don't just kind of brush it off as like, well, yeah, you know, it's just another experience in life, and just and not allow yourself to feel it. That's what I'm kind of picking up from this today. And so you have the Fool card again. This time it's in reverse. So again, I just get this feeling of don't rush in. Don't rush in. Don't try and make something happen before the time's right for it to happen. It's like the path will open up for you when it's ready. When you've dealt with what you need to deal with, I feel, then there will be this new beginning. There is a new beginning coming, Virgo. You can't run from it, you can't hide from it, you can't kind of ignore it, but at the same time you don't want to try to force it in a way as well, because it's in reverse. There could be this possible feeling of trying to make something happen in a way that isn't necessarily right for it, because there is this energy here of the Six of Swords where you're kind of now feeling like, I need to move on fast. I need to get away from all this emotional turmoil. I need to get into my future. I need to have serener and calmer waters. But again, this energy here for me kind of represents the emotions, and it represents the kind of emotions that I feel that you're not expressing, that you're kind of burying within you, and kind of just yeah, just be careful, Virgos, that you don't cause yourself to become ill over it. It's the kind of feeling that I'm getting. It's like your future is in sight. It is changing. Things are moving on. But just be careful that you don't kind of... I'm kind of getting the feeling that you don't want to take this with you into your future. But if you rush it too much, if you kind of force this new beginning, then you're going to end up taking all of this crap, this emotional baggage, if you like, into this future, into these calmer, serene waters. And they will no longer be calm and serene. It's like you will just bring your past into your present and into your future, and your present into your future. It will just kind of be this continuum. So that's what I think these cards are saying here. And then these cards also are related to this. So we have, I'm going to go through them quickly, we have the Emperor in reverse, and the Emperor energy is very powerful. It's very solid energy. Again, it's in reverse, so there's this feeling of kind of things not being, how can I put this, like the world, because he holds the world in his hands here, I get the feeling with it being in reverse that the world isn't, you're not in tune with it somehow, that you're not able to create what you're wanting to create here. But how you want things, again, I get this feeling of kind of don't force things. Just don't force it. Don't force the situation, Virgo. Allow yourself to be guided. Allow your inner voice and your inner knowing to guide you to where you need to be. Rather than feeling I've got to do this, I must create this, I must. And it's also another reason I would say that as well. Another card here, I'll just quickly go through these. This card, the Seven of Pentacles, is about being offered something and you don't know whether that is of divine kind of energy. It's something that has potential, but you don't know. It's like somebody comes out of the blue and kind of offers you something which kind of to you seems almost too good to be true. So what I'm going to say is kind of don't jump at it yet. Don't jump. Don't kind of just think, oh yeah, that's the first thing, I have to take it kind of thing. It could be something to do with a new house, a new home, a new partner. But there is this risk here, remember. And there's a lot of purple in these cards as well. And purple for me always relates to the kind of divine energy, which is why I get the feeling of guidance. But you're not listening to your own guidance. This card is up the right way. So there is a possibility that this is going to be somebody who could help you out of a situation that you're finding yourself in at this present time. But I'm just kind of saying, Virgo, don't leap immediately into the first thing, because you also have this card here. But this card is a 10, so this is also saying that there is a situation that is coming to an end here. This whole situation, I feel, of kind of having to move on from something, having to creatively, it's like you've put a lot of yourself into this. When you get to this card here, when you get to the 10s, with any of the 10s in fact in the tarot, it implies the fact that you've put your time, your energy, your efforts, you've put yourself into it, your passion, your heart, your love, particularly with the wands, because the wands kind of speak of our passion and our love and our desire and our kind of something that, you know, is really driving and really dynamic energy. But when it gets to this stage here, it's like, for me again, you've got this boat here, which is the kind of, you know, symbolic of life itself. And it's saying to me here that this boat has kind of reached its end. It's battered. It's kind of, you know, it's something that you could work on, but it's also something that you could leave for somebody else, in a way. Something that is kind of saying to me, you need to kind of leave that behind. And there is a reluctance here. There is a kind of really strong feeling of, I don't want to just move on from that. But also a feeling of kind of that you have no choice, maybe, as well. Because this card is about a dilemma. This card here is about a dilemma of choice, of what do I do? What do I choose? Do I choose something that I'm kind of already familiar with? Something that I already know how to work with, or to you know, like the path is already set out for you in a way? Or do you choose something that's kind of very different and very you know, like this Eight of Cups here, this kind of new shore, new journey, new adventure in many ways, new exploration, new way of kind of doing things. And lastly, we have the Ace of Water coming in. So this card is saying to me that this is about you loving yourself. This is about new energy. The energy of the Ace of Water is about love. This little pearl here that he's got curled up in his towel here, for me, kind of represents something that it's like, this is you, but to become this here, you have to go through a lot of kind of trials. And like for me, the oyster that makes this beautiful pearl has to go through this time of being really irritated by it, and just really kind of like, you know, this grain of sand that is just so tiny, but to the oyster it's like it's a huge, massive irritation. It's like, and that's kind of how I see kind of the situation, if you like, that this is kind of creating this pearl. All of this situation is creating this pearl, and this pearl is you. This is the love within you. This is you kind of well, going through this transformation basically, which is what this card has come out here, which is also known as the Death card. So this is about change, but in this deck, if you can see here, she has in her hand this beautiful, it's really difficult to see, but it is actually a phoenix. It's a bird rising from the ashes, as a phoenix does. But it, you know, it has to go through that process of death, of burning itself out, which kind of could also relate to this here, this kind of burnout place, before it can change, before these energies take place. But this could also relate to somebody new coming into your life as well. But I get the feeling that this is more about the energy of love itself that's going to come in a different way, because you yourself are transforming. You are going through a death. It's like you have gone beyond where you've reached a point where you could go no further. So you had to kind of force this transformation. And it's like life has a way of doing that to us. in order for us to kind of grow and evolve like the phoenix does when it kind of goes through this process of rebirthing itself. There is a transformation and an evolutionary growth taking place within that as well. So this is on a really deep level. I mean, really deep level. This is really kind of, like I say, I just feel, you know, with this 8 here, this new journey, this new territory, this new land, this new you. And somehow I feel as well that this is going to bring out that love within you. Because you are becoming this pearl. But over the top of the transformation card, we have the Hangman, who's in reverse. And these kind of came out together as well. But in reverse, it's kind of saying to me that that this process here, I kind of get the feeling of the same kind of energy here, this phoenix rising up out of the ashes. It's kind of like you spreading your wings, even though I know it's in reverse. Today I'm getting more feeling of you kind of spreading your wings and kind of really rising up. And this is the fire behind you, if you like, that you're kind of rising up out of. So again, I get the feeling that these are kind of very closely linked. And so today with this card, Virgo, I'm going to say that this is about you having to take your time with this. Taking your time, allowing the process to unfold, allowing yourself to go through this kind of unfurling and this kind of... I just get the feeling that these are also very kind of closely linked. This kind of... energy of love here, this kind of transformation, and this Hangman in the sense of you being reborn. Again, you know, this rebirth, this being reborn, there's just this sense of a very strong kind of sense of a new you, a new identity, a new way of looking at the world, a new understanding of things, a new perspective. And I know it's in reverse, and I know that, but I'm not getting that reverse. If it was in reverse, I would be saying, you know, that you've got to surrender and let go. But today I'm not getting that, because it's kind of the rising up of yourself is what I'm feeling here, Virgo. So I'm going to finish the reading on those cards there, and I will quickly read you your Crystal Deva card, which is the amber card of non-resistance, which is incredibly, I think, apt for this reading, because I think that's what it really you need to do here, Virgo, is to find the non-resistance and allow yourself to kind of accept what has happened and what is going to happen. And so I'm going to read a wee bit from this. The chakra is the solar plexus, which is interesting as well, because it is your energy, the solar plexus. It is the stomach area. It is the area that Virgo rules. And I'm just trying to find the card that there, this card here, the solar, this energy which I was talking about of you not becoming ill because of the emotional turmoil that has been involved and still is involved, and I think will kind of push you forward into your future as well. But as I was saying, don't take it with you. So the earth is a skull, or sorry, the colour of this is gold as well, which is again, I think this is quite relevant here as well. So you may want to kind of channel some gold colours as well. Maybe kind of think of yourself as as gold light. Picture gold light around you, particularly around your solar plexus, Virgo. When you're doing your time out and your meditation, kind of envisage yourself in a gold light. And maybe also carry or find or have a piece of amber for yourself as well at this time, because this is what is needed more than any other at the moment. And interestingly enough, this is not actually a crystal at all, because this comes from very, very ancient, old, decayed trees. So the earth is a school for cosmic learning, for soul growth, for evolution. Life is continuously presenting instruction through experience. Sometimes the lessons are hard, filled with sorrow and pain. Which energy I get from this here. Perhaps a loved one leaves you through death or to be with another. In the midst of your despair, it may be difficult to recognise that there is something to be learned from the ordeal you are facing. Sometimes the greatest lesson of the many that this experience brings may be that of encouraging non-resistance, letting go. Which is this energy as well, this hangman, this letting go, this surrendering, allowing, surrendering and allowing. Long after physical separation occurs, you may spend years or decades holding on emotionally. You may be clinging to a reality that no longer exists, except for the energy you supply to it. You are unable to move forward. Let me just find that other card here. They're all over the table now. With this card here, the Ten of Swords, I feel that this is very much about you kind of trying to hold on to something. You are unable to move forward because you are stuck like the insect in the amber. See, there's a little insect inside. That's what that is there. This little insect that's been caught in the amber. Unlike the insect, you have the power to release yourself from your bondage. Your resistance is your prison. Your resistance to what has happened is your denial of the truth, which was kind of what I was talking about earlier as well, particularly with this card here as well. It is time to free yourself, spread your spirit wings and fly. Here we go, Virgo. Spreading your spirit wings and flying. Rise above what is anchoring you so tightly and keeping you earthbound. It is non-resistance that allowed us to change our identity from one kingdom to another. We start our life in the plant kingdom as the lifeblood of the tree. As we move from a liquid to a solid state, we undergo a transmutation and become a bridge. Here we go, transformation. And become a bridge between the plant and mineral kingdoms. We are the embodiment of adaptability and what it can accomplish. When the mineral kingdom opened its heart to us and adopted a foreigner into its family, it served as a further example of non-resistance. Why has our card called to you today? Are you feeling stuck in some old emotion or situation? Perhaps you are resisting a change that you know you should make. Maybe you are being stubborn about an issue and need to compromise. Decide how the concept of resistance relates to your current life. Once you know where your resistance lies, sit and meditate on our golden colour. There we go. Where are we? On our golden colour. We work with the solar plexus, the representation of the sun in the human body. Again, there it is. Let us melt the rigidity and fear that perpetrate your situation so that you can move through it. Become the sap. Feel the liquid state you become, flowing, unimpeded, pushing through any obstruction. Move whatever has been in your way out of your way. Feel your heart and all your chakras move into a liquid, unbound state. Energy moves up your chakra system. I'm just getting the feeling of this card again here, this transformation, this kind of allowing yourself to transform. Energy moves up your chakra system through your crown into the heavens beyond and down again through the soles of your feet into the earth below, flowing. No rigidity can exist in this state. You are one with all. So Virgo, I cannot believe how much of the reading turned up in just that little bit of the crystal card there. So I'm going to say that at this time, Virgo, this is probably a really good idea to have on your person. Sleep with it, carry it, take it into the shower with you, meditate with it, talk to it, whatever you feel you want to do with it. But get yourself a piece of amber, Virgos, because this is, I feel, going to help you immensely in this change that is coming up and is occurring right now, but also moving into your future. So we also have here a Namaste Blessing card. And again, transformation. Butterflies always relate to transformation. And the feeling, this is the sun again. Look, your gold solar plexus energy. And you're definitely, look, you've got this little tiny red heart there in the middle as well, which kind of reflects to me this love energy here with this beautiful seahorse as well. It's kind of opening up to something completely new, I feel. So I will read this for you, and it says, Sunlight Blessing. A ray of light bursts through the cloud of uncertainty, and darkness transforms to light. A new day is born, and the first buds of spring appear. You are blessed with the birth of something new. A new season of your life begins with this very special blessing. Beautiful card. Really beautiful card. Sunlight Blessing. The colour gold. So Virgo, that is your advice today, is to meditate, think of the colour gold, surround yourself in the colour gold, get yourself a piece of amber, carry it with you, because there is a message here for you. This message, though, Virgo, may not have resonated with all you Virgos out there. It is just a general read. Hopefully some of you will be able to take something from it. Also, if you have liked this reading, could you thumbs it up for me, because it does help it to get out into the bigger kind of YouTube world, and the more people can get to actually see it and hear my messages, and hopefully come over to my channel and subscribe and check out my other videos as well. So I do have quite a few videos up, Virgo, if you'd like to go and have a look at them. I try to do major astrological events like new moons and full moons, and I also try to do things like the conjunctions that take place as well. We'll also be doing one over the next kind of few days or within the next week to do with the conjunction that's happening at this moment with Black Moon Lilith, Venus and Chiron, which I'm kind of in the process of working out and working through. So also, could you subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed already, and thank you very much to anybody who has subscribed. Welcome back to my channel if you have subscribed and you're here again. Also, could you tap the bell to so that you know when my videos are out. And with that, I will say thank you very much again. Oh, and share it with anybody who you think may benefit from this reading as well, please, Virgos. And take care. See you again soon, hopefully.